Hello, my name is Abby and I talk all things diabetes and diabulimia related. So if that is any interest to you, go ahead and give this a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. I appreciate it a lot. Today I figured I would tell y'all my story starting from the beginning all the way to now. And then I'm gonna upload other people's stories and just things like that with diabulimia and diabetes, stuff like that. So starting off with me, I was diagnosed when I was 14. I started going to the bathroom like every 5 minutes, and I would fall asleep in school, which I would never do ever, so that was weird. But my parents thought that I was just being a little over dramatic because I would, like, when I got sick, I would kind of like play it a little bit too much, you know what I'm saying? But I finally convinced my mom to make me a doctor's appointment because I was just not feeling good at all. So we went to the doctor, and my doctor had tested my blood sugar, and he said it was like 420, 422, something like that. And they said that I needed to go to the hospital, the children's hospital in Indianapolis, Riley's, because I had type 1 diabetes. And my mom felt really, really bad for not believing me at first, but yeah, so we get in the car and we stop at Applebee's on the way there because it was like my last meal before I had to start doing shots, but before my meal, stuff like that, which was really nice of him. But yeah, so we went to Riley. I did the whole diabetes school thing. I learned how to take care of myself, and then I was basically on my own. And so for the first year after that, I was really good at doing my shots, like checking my blood sugar, like just taking care of myself, until my dad lost his job and we had to move like 3 hours away to a different town in the middle of my freshman year. So it was new school, new house, new town. And I kind of felt like everything was like spiraling around me and I couldn't control anything. But what I could control was how much insulin I was giving myself because my parents were a little distracted by like everything else going on. So I was started like limiting how much I gave myself. And what I noticed was when I would skip my insulin, I would lose weight really, really fast. And that was the beginning of what I would like to call like the spiral, because things got really bad after that. So pretty much all through high school, I would skip insulin at home. I'd do it at school so no one would like ask about it. And I had to go to the nurse to do it for lunch, so I would like do it there. Sometimes I would like say I did it in my stomach and like shoot it back into the cap, but most of the time at school I did it. But at home I was pretty much not doing it at all for meals. But I was still doing Lantus because I was still a little bit nervous of what would happen if I just totally stopped doing it altogether. And that was until I graduated high school. So once I was done with high school, I moved in with my grandma to start going to college. And there I was pretty much able to do whatever I wanted when I wanted to. So I started not doing insulin at all, Lantus nothing, except for when I had to, because I was getting sick. So I would totally not do insulin at all, and then I would go into ketoacidosis, which I think I made a video on that before, but I can make another one if y'all want. But I went into ketoacidosis like every 2 weeks for about a year. So like that whole year I was just losing weight continuously, not doing insulin, and getting sick every 2 weeks. And the doctors knew me by name, the nurses knew me by name, like I was always coming in. And then it finally got to a point where I was really depressed. I was really, like, I was 90 pounds, but I wanted to be thinner. Like, I just couldn't stop. So it got to the point where I was like, I would rather not be here anymore than to keep fighting this disease. So I decided that I was gonna stop taking my insulin, get sick, because I knew if I would stop taking it, I was gonna get sick. I stopped doing my insulin, and then I would just not go to the doctor and just let it kind of consume me. So that's what I did. I stopped taking it. It took about maybe 3 days to where I was like really, really sick. But I would not go to the doctor, and my dad would be there like begging me to go, and I would just say no, like I don't want to. But finally I got to the point where I was so sick that my dad really didn't give me a choice, and he kind of took me to the doctor because I was not doing well at all. So I went to the hospital that day. My dad took me, which I'm still so thankful for now, but they had to put an IV in my neck. I think they did a main line, like a central line. They were like pumping me with fluids and insulin and all that jazz. And like everyone around me looked so like scared. And I finally, like, with all these things like connected to me, I was like, this is not what I want. Like, I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, why am I keep putting myself in this position just because I want to be thin? But the point is, like, in a diabulimic's brain, it's like, I'd rather be skinny and I'd rather be pretty than take care of myself. Stuff like that. So I'm in the hospital. I have all this stuff. And the doctor had pulled my dad out and told him that if I had waited like an hour more, that I probably wouldn't be here anymore. Like, I'd probably be unalived. And I really was laying there, and I'm like, I don't want this to be the end. Like, I don't want to just let diabetes win. I don't. So thankfully I recovered. I was in the hospital about a week, and then they sent me to a psych ward in Indianapolis. It's like the state ward, because of the whole diabulimia thing, and they didn't know how to treat it because they didn't know what it was, and they had no doctors that knew what it was. They just sent me to a psych ward because they thought I was insane. So I was there for a day because they didn't know how to help me. And they were just treating me like I had anorexia, but I don't have that, so that's not gonna help me. And it was just really bad. I was just not having it, so my dad came and got me, and we went home. And then finally, my doctor had found like a eating disorder place for anorexia, but it was like a partial inpatient. So I'd go there all day, I would like eat there, I would do therapy there, and then I would come home at night and then do it again the next day. So I went to that for about a week. But again, the same problem was, it was for anorexia, and I didn't have that. So all the therapy and the food treatment and stuff wasn't helping because I don't have anorexia, I have diabulimia. So that did not help me whatsoever. So I did that for about a week, and then I was like, okay, this isn't working for me. So I went home. I just kind of left one day because they were getting upset at me because their stuff wasn't working because their treatment wasn't for what I had. So I just went home. And I pretty much treated my diabetes, like my diabulimia, myself. A couple months after I had gotten out of that eating disorder place, I had finished school to be a medical assistant, and I moved to be with my now husband Colton. He was my boyfriend at the time. But I moved up here, and I was still really struggling with like doing my insulin every day and like stuff like that. But it wasn't like getting sick every 2 weeks, but it was still like kind of getting sick like once every couple months. But I basically had to treat myself, like give myself therapy. And the number one way I learned how to do that was like humor, because I like to be funny. Like diabetes is such a serious topic, but I think it's hilarious because it's a joke. But yeah, so I made a TikTok in 2020, and all I do is make fun of diabetes, and I just make it light, and I thankfully I've gotten a platform from that, and that really helped me not only recover but also know that I'm not by myself, and realize that diabulimia needs to be spoken about, and it needs to be out in the open, and it needs to have treatment centers and doctors that like specialize in it and things like that. Because for me, I'm a lucky one because I pretty much treated myself, which is like bad to say, but like I didn't have any help, and because no one knew how to help me. So that's basically why I started this whole YouTube thing, this whole TikTok thing, because my biggest passion in the world is making sure that people who struggle with diabulimia and diabetes in general know that they're not alone, and that there is people out there that care, and there's people out there that are going to fight for you and speak for you and things like that. So yeah, that is my story. I hope you liked it. I hope it was informational. If anyone on here is struggling with any of these topics, please feel free to message me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. But yeah, just know that you are not alone in your fight with diabulimia, with diabetes, and there are people fighting for you. So anyway, that's my story. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and I hope you have a good day.